Well. Gratitude. Oh, look at that plane. Let me see if I clean that plane. Now the plane, did I say it? No, I did not say it, but it's okay. Beautiful morning this morning. I am grateful. Today is all about that imperfection. I call it imperfection because I was able to get mad and sit with the emotions. And I think a lot of times when we get a little upset, we think is the end of the world. But yes, being able to sit with my emotion this morning was unique. Dealing with imperfection is one of those things that's very crucial into also mental illness, and not denying yourself the opportunity to be sad and be happy at the same time. It is nothing wrong with starting your day with a little bit of emotions, and I'm just saying that's what I begin to learn, because speaking for everyone is totally not. So I'm just sharing how I felt. There's nothing wrong with starting your day with a little bit of emotional discomfort, and that emotional discomfort, what I begin to do is every morning during the yoga and stretching session, I tend to write it down. I write my emotions down. So every day is usually with both my right and left hand is gratitude. So I'm always grateful every day, and there are a lot of manifestation writing, and just kind of just write down the things that comes into mind. So today's emotion, it was just how I felt, just literally just write it down. And the ability to also be able to sit with that emotion and understand it. So what I've also learned is anytime I have an emotion that I'm supposed to correct, I always find a way to not write it down in a piece of paper. And that is because I'm not ready to deal with that situation. The brain is just such a unique thing, how it just functions. And wanted to know more about the brain, about the emotion. And that's why I question a lot of Eastern ideologies, the monks. I'm just like, man, can the mind really sit still? Is it possible? But I think the mind can be still. It is possible to an extent, and it just requires a lot of practice. And I think because as an individual, we have all this uniqueness within us, and that uniqueness makes us sort of experience things differently. And the way somebody else might experience something, you might not experience it that way. So today's experience for me was just being able to write down the emotions, and the ones that I'm afraid of, that I do not want to get rid of, I was able to actually write it down today. And that being said, that took me to a form of, because every one of us growing up, we were introduced to a sort of prayer. How we say things is based on what we've been taught. But to actually begin to use your own cognitive ideology, which a lot of time you develop that cognitive senses via self-education, meaning you read different books, and you're able to collect all those ideas. When you begin to collect those ideas together, you start to realize, there's so much to learn here. So, because over the years, I've just exercised my brain. Everything is all about the brain. The meditation, the reading, the running. So it's becoming more of a, okay, I want to learn mathematics. I want to learn this. I want to do this. So, and being able to sit with yourself and say, look, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I supposed to be doing? And I think that it's just a huge relief to actually surrender to my own imperfection. Imperfection is so unique. To be able to accept what you cannot control, it's just such a healing. But to also know that you could also advise yourself and have a choice to how you deal with the situation is also unique. I think a lot of time our mental illness, our mental stability comes from not being honest with ourselves. The first true meaning of love is self-honesty. A lot of time when we open and blunt, we are going to say things that's going to hurt a lot of people. But that is okay. But at the same time, before we say stuff, I always ask myself before I say stuff, if I say this thing in this manner, how would I feel if the table was turned? So I always judge what I say based on how I feel if it was directed to me. So that being said, today's emotion is just my imperfection. Being able to deal with those things is so unique. It is a beautiful morning, this meditative jog this morning. This is what I'm sort of looking at. Healing, self-therapy, and therapy goes hand in hand. And the thing about it is, it never stops. You are always growing each day. You're always learning about new things, new ideology. That's why it's good to read about neuroscience. I myself, I haven't got to that chapters yet, because I have so many syllabus of mine that I put on I wouldn't say on hold, but that I'm going through. So, and I think self-education, you are a student for life. The moment you realize that you have to learn all the time, mental illness, depression, all those things will not scare you, because there is a way to heal the mind. There is a way to heal the mind, self-healing. There's some that I cannot speak for, but at the end of the day, whatever you're going through, always be honest with yourself. Always be honest with yourself. Through self-honesty, you can conquer a lot of things. That being said, this meditative jog this morning, each step I can feel the release of the tension, and I also think a lot of all the emotions, some of the emotions that I went through today came from self-denial. And when you let go and stop being in denial, you will see. I saw a big difference. I don't want to say anybody will see. But that being said, gratitude it is today. One love, and peace.